You have exactly 20 seconds. You are sitting at the end of a long wooden boardroom table, and the owner of a cafe chain is waiting for you to tell them whether to renew an expensive lease for their Marina Bay location. If you slide a raw spreadsheet across the table or put up a default chart with 5 competing colors, that 20-second window closes. The executive's attention shatters. The argument is lost before you even make it. The solution is a strict discipline. The specific message you need to convey dictates the type of chart you use. Your aesthetic taste has absolutely nothing to do with it. But before you can design that perfectly targeted message for the boardroom, you have to find the actual truth hiding inside the raw data. This diagram shows a common statistical trap. Let's say your data spits out an average customer spend of $8.38. But look at what happens when we break that single point down. It splits apart into 2 completely separate clusters. One group is buying drinks for around $6. The other group is buying full meals for around $15. That $8 average lands right in the empty dip between them. The so-called average customer literally does not exist. We can apply that exact same logic to the cafe chain's total revenue. The top-line number has been perfectly flat for 2 quarters. But by breaking the data down into small multiples, a completely different reality emerges. Here is the first half of the reality. The chain's high-profile Marina Bay outlet is in severe distress, with sales quietly collapsing over the last 6 months. Here is the second half. A different outlet in Holland Village is experiencing rapid growth. The new money coming in from Holland Village is perfectly masking the collapse at Marina Bay on the company's mastery spreadsheet. You've found the crisis. But knowing the truth is completely useless if you cannot forge that data into a weapon sharp enough to cut through executive distraction. This diagram shows how we build that weapon. We construct charts in a strict 3-level hierarchy. Start with the figure, the blank sheet of paper. Then add axes to form the panel. Finally, add the plots, the actual ink representing your data. Once that ink is on the paper, human biology takes over. Our visual system registers color and position in under 500 milliseconds. That happens completely pre-attentively, long before conscious thought kicks in. You have to exploit that speed because you are fighting a biological bottleneck. Human working memory caps out at holding roughly 4 items at once. Every extra line, color, or label you add spends a piece of that limited budget. We buy back attention by stripping away visual noise. We assign a muted gray to the stable outlets for context. Now we drop in the collapsing Marina Bay outlet in a single aggressive accent color. The eye snaps directly to the crisis before reading a word. This graphic shows the cardinal rule of honest design. On the left, the truncated axis makes a tiny difference look massive. Because eyes judge bar charts by physical length, the right chart is the only ethical option. Bar charts must start at 0. Line charts operate under a completely different set of rules. Lines encode position to show change over time, so their axes can be ethically truncated to make subtle percentage movements visible. Then you apply the rule of titling. You delete the generic metric title, like monthly revenue, and you replace it with a sentence that explicitly states your finding. Finally, you directly annotate the cause of the trend right onto the canvas. You draw a line pointing to November and write exactly what happened. By following these rules, your chart becomes a bulletproof, independent asset. It will confidently survive being forwarded through endless corporate email chains without you sitting there to explain it. The last step before you enter the boardroom is aligning your design to the specific stakeholder. A data team needs to see statistical distributions and methodology to trust your findings, but a regional manager doesn't need methodology. They need a chart breaking down operational drivers, so they know exactly which levers to pull on the floor. This chart shows what the executive owner needs. We strip away the uncertainty bands and the scattered data points, leaving only the primary trend line and the core financial metric. If you show an executive the dense, highly complex chart you built for your data team, you fail to understand your audience, and your credibility instantly evaporates. You are back in the room. The 20 seconds starts now. Act 1 establishes the context. Chain revenue has been perfectly flat for 2 quarters, so nothing looks urgent. Act 2 delivers the finding. It is flat because 2 outlets cancel out. Marina Bay is down 28%, and Holland Village is up 27%. Marina Bay's fall happened in one single week last November, when a competitor opened next door. Act 3 delivers the decision. Marina Bay spends 28% of its revenue on rent, compared to 15% everywhere else. Before they sign the lease, the question is whether that November step-down can be reversed. Notice what you didn't say. You didn't tell them to close the Marina Bay outlet. That is the boundary of the analyst. You use perception, honest design, and narrative structure to make the comparison absolutely unavoidable. You made the data speak. The burden of choice now belongs strictly to the person carrying the risk.